Knowledge about the legends about the creation of the universe and the world is not only found in civilized nations. Most of them start with the creation of nature first, followed by the creation of gods and humans. Today, the world still tells the legend of the creation of the world and humans. Today, the world still tells the legend of the creation of the world and humans according to the beliefs of various nations. Creation of the world according to Christian legends. The Christian Holy Scriptures are divided into the Old Testament and the New Testament. The Old Testament tells about the creation of the world, the origin of humanity, the history of the Israelites, until the birth and death of Jesus, the prophet of the Christian Church. The first legend of the creation of the world comes from the Old Testament, which was influenced by Judaism, which states that God created the world in 6 days. The creation of the world was orderly, starting from chaos in the sky and land, the sea, plants and trees, the sun, the moon, fish and birds, land animals and reptiles, and finally reaching humans, where God created humans in the image of Himself. The body is made from the 4 elements, earth, water, wind, and fire, but humans have a soul consisting of the 5 senses, controlled by intelligence. The man called Heavenly Man is the prototype of all human beings, neither male nor female. He is composed of a noble nature that is imperishable and immortal. Adam, the first man, was greater than his descendants in both beauty and size. He was free from disease and had the special power of perception. He could converse with angels in heaven. However, he still died because he was born as a human. The second legend of the creation of the world comes from when God created the earth and the sky. The earth was dry and there was no woman on it. However, vapor rose from below, softening the soil before God created man, the first living being, from the mud that had turned to dust. He gave life to man by blowing his own breath into his nostrils. Then God created the fruit part and gave it to Adam to name each one, but no animal could help him in the garden. So God created a helper for Adam by pulling out a rib from his body while he was sleeping. He created a woman, Eve. The garden, called Eden, was the kingdom of the first couple of humans on earth. They were free to choose to eat fruit from any tree in the garden except one tree, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, because if they did so, it would be like making themselves God. Adam and Eve lived happily in the Garden of Eden, which was like a paradise on earth, until Eve believed Satan, who transformed into a serpent or serpent to tempt them to eat the forbidden fruit, and also persuaded Adam to eat it by disobeying God's command. Both of them were expelled from the Garden of Eden to live in the world. They had to work hard and caused humans, who were their descendants, to have original sin from the sin of the first pair of ancestors. The flood. When the world was created, there was also the destruction of the world. Almost every nation in the world has a legend about this belief. Because there was a natural disaster in the form of a great flood. After Adam and Eve were expelled from the Garden of Eden to live in the world, there were descendants who inherited it. Later, humans became more and more evil. So God caused it to rain for 40 days and 40 nights, causing a global flood. All humans on earth drowned, except Noah, who was a good man and had been warned in advance by God to build an ark. When the flood came, Noah and his family took food and every kind of animal, a pair each, into the ark, which floated to the top of Mount Ararat. When the water receded, Noah left the boat and continued the human race. God promised that such a flood would not happen again, with the rainbow as a witness. From the sin of the first ancestors of man, Adam and Eve, all humans were born into the world with the sin called original sin, even as newborns. Therefore, the infant must be baptized to eliminate this sin. When the child grows up and commits another sin, in the Catholic Church, there is a confession of sin, and the priest will forgive the sin, but it does not mean that the sin will be washed away. In the belief of Christians, those who do good will go to heaven when they die. Those who commit sins will go to hell. Those whose sins are not too severe will have to pay for their sins in purgatory. Before Jesus Christ was born as a human being and sacrificed his life on the cross to redeem the sins of mankind, it was like Adam too, giving mankind another chance to go to heaven. When the end of the world comes, called Doomsday or Judgment Day, Jesus will perform the final judgment called Last Judgment. All humans will be resurrected, both body and soul. Sinners will be sentenced to hell, and good people will be rewarded with eternal heaven. There will be no more purgatory. There will be no more rebuilding of the world.